He worked at Phoenix Children's Hospital for 5 years. He was like what I call a micro celebrity, like he was the most famous person at the Children's Hospital. Everyone always asked about the cat. We went once a week and we just visited kids who were hospitalized. He would just get in bed with them and make them feel better. One time there was this little girl who was getting an MRI, which is pretty scary for little kids. We got a call that day that she really wanted to meet Roger, and we went there to see her, and she cried and she held him, and it was so sweet. We have some really special memories. He never got upset about anything really, and I think that is the most amazing part of Roger, is just the way he's just so unflappable. A long time ago, I had dated a guy and we had a gray cat together, and I lost her in the breakup. For years afterwards, I would tell people, all I want is a gray cat who will walk on a leash. And I had some friends and they had kittens born in their yard, and they kept telling me one of them is mostly gray. And they were like, you gotta come see this kitten. I first met Roger maybe the day after his eyes opened. So he was probably 3 weeks. We connected immediately. He was being raised with his mom, who was an outside cat, and then his dad was my friend's Italian Greyhound. He was convinced he was the father of these babies. He would spend so much time with them. And so because of that, Roger has this really unique personality where he's super friendly, and he's really smart, and he's kind of more dog-like than cat-like. Took him when he was 8 weeks old. I immediately noticed his special personality, and I thought I would really like to give back to the world somehow. And at the time, my boss's wife worked for an organization called Hospice of the Valley, and he said they would love to have another therapy cat. So he was a year old, he took his therapy cat test, and he became a therapy cat. He is super friendly, super outgoing. I used to carry him around the hospital in my arms, and he would be on his back. I think it's a little different that a cat is okay being carried on their back for 2 hours at a time. Then I would just put him on beds with kids, and he would immediately cuddle up with them. So Roger worked really consistently for Hospice of the Valley for 3 years, and then we started with the Children's Hospital too. And then COVID hit and everything stopped, and I couldn't tell if his personality was changing or he didn't want to do it anymore. And I just kept saying God, I would love to have another therapy cat. And one day I went outside and there was this orange and white cat, and he was so friendly, crazy friendly. I never found anyone or any mention of someone losing a cat, and I looked pretty hard, then I was you're mine. So I was well, maybe you could be a therapy cat. So I kept him. After 6 months, we took the test and he passed immediately. They've all changed my life in a different way. Before I had Roger, I didn't know any of my neighbors, but then I started walking him outside and I really got to know people. And through the work we do, you learn a lot of life lessons. And the most important one that I learned from doing hospice is that if you have people around you who love you, you actually have more than you realize. Having them made me realize that having people who love you and having your health is really important. And maybe you don't have everything you want in life, but actually if you have those two things, you are very blessed.